Camera recording.
We're good?
Main camera recording.
Recording video.
And you are back. Sleepless. Camera recording. Audio recording.
Am I in the shot?
How much I love you.
Sorry, never mind. Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of season 3 of Knights at the Round Table. Today we are discussing the 1951 film The Day the Earth Stood Still. I'm gonna start. Wasn't that? No, that's 2000.
That's
Oh yeah, completely wrong.
Yeah.
Sound effects.
Space Odyssey.
We have a low budget here. We have to do what we can on the panel.
It's also general impressions of the film. Eric, I'm starting with you.
I was expecting more of a monster movie, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised.
I was expecting it to be an awful lot cheesier than it was, and I was also pleasantly surprised.
I was not expecting much of anything. I had no idea what I was walking into when I watched this film, and I really rather enjoyed it. I will say, however, that, and it's going to sound horribly patronising, this film was charming. There was something charming about it that I think has to do with the age in which it was filmed. So,
It felt innocent.
it did. It felt very innocent.
Also, point of note, it's not patronizing when you say charming. When I say charming, it's patronizing. Just saying.
Accents
Yeah.
saving you every time.
Yeah.
One thing that I have trouble sometimes with older movies like this is trying to decide whether they are predictable or they set the standard. So, the scared military man who shoots too quickly obviously is not the first time this has been done. It goes back to King Arthur myths. But the military being evil and scared at the same time feels like something that's distinctly started in the 50s.
Yeah.
Post World War II, everyone was scared, commies, all that stuff.
Yeah. And
Before
I liked
that,
how they worked that into the story.
yes,
Very much. Although I have to say, the general incompetence of the military cracked me up. The way they were portrayed in this film,
yeah,
which is part of its charm, is part of the innocence of it. And modern film were much more accurate in how they portray the military. Not entirely accurate, but much more.
Before I get into the military problems of this movie, your comment about, what to expect from an old movie, I also feel the same way about that, and things I expect out of old movies, because I'm not an old movie fan right off the bat. So I was expecting boring. This movie was not boring. I actually found that it had a very good and interesting flow. And to further that same point, I watched it very late at night, which is disastrous for me in old movies. But I was following it the whole time. No problems, no desire to fast forward anything. It was good. The second thing that bugs me about old movies is the visual quality. Like now, everything is like, whatever. This one, I really enjoyed the way they lit things.
Yeah, they did a really good job with their special effects, which was basically like miniatures and stuff. But
not just the special effects, just the rooms, the sets. You know that most of them are sets and not actually a person's house, but they put enough detail and it's enough clarity if you had an HD to see it.
Okay, so
it was very, very well shot.
For those people who are videographers or filmmakers or photographers out there, the key words is good black and white.
Yes.
They did a great job on the lighting. Everything was crisp. The shadows were interesting. People's faces were all very well lit. Yes.
People's faces were interesting as well.
Superhero movie makers, watch this film and learn. If I can't see the cheekbones of your main character, there's a problem.
Oh my god! Speaking of cheekbones, the main character, when you get the behind shot, I'm like, that looks like, that's Benedict Cumberbatch, I bet you. And then they pan around and I'm like, okay, so it's Ben Michael Remy Batch, but he looked the same.
The Batch.
I actually went and I looked up to find out if they were related. They look so similar.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And he has the same sort of composure as Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
He's slightly alien, not fully understanding humans, but still being kindly.
He does that, very well.
He had that condescending...
Oh!
I'm definitely better than all of you 1950s people. So well
I didn't
done.
find him too
He
condescending.
was with the military and with doctors. It was like, isn't that cute?
I didn't get that at all. I found him curt,
My favorite
but not...
was
Impatient with stupidity.
Yes, my favorite was that ever so slightly amused, patronizing smile
Yes,
when they
that
locked
was
him
it.
in his hospital room.
And he's like,
Yeah, but it was just a little isn't that darling kind of
yes.
smile. He pulled it off brilliantly.
What I thought was particularly brilliant about that is they didn't even bother showing how he got out of it. They just skipped to the next scene
Well, they
where
didn't
he's
need to. They showed him smiling, and you're like, "Yep, he's out."
oh yeah.
It didn't matter how he
Yeah.
got out; he's out. Yeah.
In that the scene before that, completely, I'm sure they didn't do it on purpose, but the two doctors are talking, and they're saying, yeah, he says he's healthy because their medicine is so much more advanced. And the doctor, as he's saying that, offers a cigarette
Yes!
to the other
Yes!
doctor.
Oh!
And I'm like,
Yeah, the smirking in this is something that caught me up as well. Like everybody,
yes, but the fact that they are better
Doctors-
medicine.
doctors. Yeah, but they didn't know.
Oh, I
Right?
know, that's why it's funny.
Yeah, cigarettes were marketed as being healthful for you when they first started
What killed
marketing
me
them.
about that same scene is the second doctor, as he's leaving, said something extremely defeatist. Where, like,
Yeah.
they're so much more advanced than us. He's like, I might as well just quit being a doctor and take up doing something else. And I was like,
Yeah.
whoa! Like, you
See,
don't
that-
want to
that-
learn
that
from
just-
him?
that-
But
just made me
is
giggle.
that is an attitude that I saw throughout the film from everyone but the mother, the child, and the scientists. They're all like, "Well, they're more advanced. Let's give up. Let's kill him before he kills us." It's sort of a very defeatist attitude, which I think was prevalent at the time when talking about nuclear war and
Oh, it was
that
a
kind of thing, because
big
we're all going to
concern.
die.
Yeah, it was a big concern.
Understandably, and
Yeah,
that's sort of the message of this book.
Book.
Oh, look, it's-
Bless
movie.
you.
Sorry, of this movie.
That's okay. I make that mistake all the time. Yeah.
And you're right, the pacing was well done. It was a little slower than a modern film would be, but it was coherent.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything like an old Bond movie where he went on a tangent that you're like, where, what, huh?
This was before this was made into a movie. I don't know whether it was a book or a story, but it comes off of something, and unfortunately, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's an adaptation.
The name
Of what?
I can't remember. I want to say a radio play, but I think it might have been a short story.
It felt like a short story because it distinctly did not say the word novel. It's like based on the novel by whatever.
Yeah.
It was based on something by some guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's
That
interesting
makes
wording.
sense. It felt more literary adaptation.
Yes, yes. And it was just... yes, it was slow. And I expect from old movies for things to be a little slower because that's just the way they told them.
Yes, and some of it actually worked towards... its
worked.
message worked better. Some of it was just sort of like, okay, go on, get on with it.
Yeah. I do wish, however, they spent more time on the relationship between Klaatu and the boy.
Yes.
Because that, especially right at the end, felt very rushed. Like, the boy discovers he's the spaceman, and then that's the last you see
He
of the
doesn't
boy.
say goodbye to him.
No, there's no goodbye, there's no thank you for...
Especially the point where the mom was going out on the date, and like they had only met this guy one day before, and he's like, well, I can take him out. And from the spaceman's point of view, he doesn't necessarily understand how humans work, so that might not have been weird. But from the mother's point of view, she was looking at the new boyfriend being like, oh, should I allow him to take the kid out? And he's like, oh yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah, but two things. Boyfriend was a jerk.
Yeah.
Second, I think that might be part of the innocence of the age, where people don't expect strangers to do harm
That's
to
what
their
I was
children.
thinking.
Yeah, which is part of its charm.
But what I like is the main character Klaatu could be written from our point of view.
Oh yeah,
the stuff he says, the science is a little bit off, but most of the morals that he has have been pushed through science fiction to this day. So when he starts talking about not being violent or that kind of thing, I'm like, wow, he could be a modern character.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, the relationship between Klaatu and the mother.
And that would have been nice.
He obviously showed a little bit of affection towards her. And she was madly in love with him from the minute she saw him. She had that, 1950s bedroom eye thing going.
To be fair,
he was a handsome man.
I would have too, yeah, he's a handsome man.
And he was nice. It's so nice. This is part of its charm, like you said. It's fun to see a movie where the alien is a genuinely nice guy. He's not a dick. He's not trying... Well, I mean, he's threatening the world through not really his choice, but... Yeah, he's there to learn and to help.
Yeah, and he's there to help. So the threat to the world is basically, look, you guys need to smarten up. I want to help you, but you've got to help yourselves.
See, right off the bat, though, I mean, the way he comes into this, if I was him, I would have been a little bit more annoyed. I mean,
being shot?
You go in, you land on a planet, and right off the bat, they shoot you. I would have been like, okay, people,
To be fair, though, he said that his culture had been watching Earth for quite some time.
They should have known
he should have expected
in Washington right during the Cold War will get him shot. Why didn't he land in Ohio and take a train? Or Canada? I mean, all aliens go to the States.
Blame Canada. Sorry.
That was one point that
he wanted to make an entrance, and he paid for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these people never go directly to the UN or directly to scientists. I mean, they always go somewhere where it's going to be into trouble. The one thing that I can think of where people actually went directly to scientists was
Robert Sawyer's.
The Robert J. Sawyer book, which was
Calculating
brilliant.
God.
Not even a scientist, a paleontologist.
A paleontologist, yeah.
Which is a scientist.
In Toronto.
By that verdict, I always wish that, characters would do that, because it shows you are an advanced race, going to the scientists.
There's also a big flaw in this one movie that I don't understand. They've been observing our radio signals, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That means they can receive them. Why can't he just park his ship in orbit and do a radio broadcast to the entire planet at the same time?
That's a good point.
Why does he have to talk? Yes, I know. But even back then, that's sort of a big plot hole. If he was coming to observe us, I got it. But to warn us, I need to talk to as many people as possible. That's something I liked. The movie didn't debase any country.
No, it didn't.
So even though there were Russians and there were Americans, and they sort of made fun of politics in general, they never said, oh, well, yeah, these people aren't real people. Even the scientists that they assembled, there were some from pretty much every nationality.
Yeah, I was about to say, this movie has more inclusiveness in it than a lot of modern movies. I'm looking at you, Gods of Egypt.
They have inclusiveness, they just have white actors playing the inclusive.
No, don't even! Oh, makes me so mad! But I was really impressed at the number of African Americans, for example, that showed up as background actors.
Yes,
in the crowds. That made me happy. There were a lot of them, relatively speaking.
Yeah, and they had people from African countries for the scientists, and
India, and
the
Asians, and
the way they used the media, you saw it from different countries, which was
it was nice. That inclusiveness was really nice, and in 1951, they got it right. In 2016.
Okay. So yeah, I think it's probably about time for the military rant.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, they were so incompetent.
Okay, so, spaceman comes down, lands in Washington D.C. They surround him with men and tanks, and by tanks I mean 3 tanks. But
they were on a budget.
They pulled out
Handguns?
some artillery too.
Artillery, yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. They had a
when
shell.
he comes out, you see some of the guys on top of tanks pulling out their revolvers too, which is whatever. But what killed me though is when they shoot him just before Gort.
Yeah, Gort.
Gort basically makes them all disappear. Not one of those tanks got a shot off. So, alien thing making your whole military disappear. Not one of those tanks who were all primed and ready to kill him.
To be fair, he was only taking away the guns,
but
not the military
no,
personnel.
the minute that one person shot, I'm surprised that half of the he shot, and then everyone looked at him like, "You moron!"
I'm surprised,
as opposed to everyone not going. Like one person shoots,
but
that's
okay though, because if one person shoots by accident, you don't want everybody else to spontaneously open fire without the order. What I'm bitching about is that once the bad guy starts firing back, not one of all the heavy artillery gets off a shot before he makes them all
holding their handguns.
What actually annoyed me a lot was he shoots accidentally. Then there was no reprimand.
Yeah, nobody seemed to care.
Yeah.
Until like this one soldier goes, "Oh my God, are you okay?" It's something that even in modern day movies they play up way too much. Only now it's an audience expectation.
Yeah.
Alien means bad. Alien means bad. Which kind of subverted, because even at the time it came from outer space and a million other movies where aliens will kill you. And I like that this one doesn't have that.
Yeah,
but
I like that very much.
It's kind of annoying the military constantly going, well, we're not going to try to capture him now.
Yeah.
I don't know why I've got that weird accent.
Because most of them did.
Yeah. But yes, you're right. But it was refreshing not to have any military conspiracies or like FBI background type things.
Interference.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when the FBI guy showed up to take him to meet the scientist that he wanted to meet, they specified that it was an agent who was taking him out of the house.
Yes.
But when they delivered him, he was delivered by the military.
Yeah, by a man in uniform.
Yeah.
So that I was like, did they cut a scene here? And
yeah, it's probably a continuity issue.
That was a bit weird.
I think the guy, the scientist, lives on base. Because he supposedly lives right next to where his mother worked.
He can't live on base.
No, that's true.
Him and the kid walked up to his door and walked in. They would not
have
been allowed.
But then again,
but
then again, also the general incompetence of the military in this movie. Maybe they could just walk through the base.
They would have shown him walking through a gate or something. No,
maybe.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah,
I didn't think of that. Although it was the kid that said it was an agent, didn't he? And hadn't he be calling everyone in a suit an agent?
No, but I mean, also the guy was plain clothes. Right, so I mean, and all the military in this movie were distinctly, even the officers, like in uniform. So I'm going to take it on fairly good assumption that it was an agent. They just
switched.
They had a continuity.
Tag, you're out.
Yeah.
I would have never thought I would say this about an old science fiction, but I would have liked the relationship between the alien and the mother more explored.
Yeah, that was the point you were making before.
Yeah, maybe have them go with him at the end.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, if it had been, because he really liked the kid was smart
and warm and friendly and all those kind of things.
There are galactic rules about this.
Well, and here's the thing too, I really liked that the alien was basically humanoid. Like, all the ribs, like, they mentioned it. They made a special point of mentioning, he's an alien, but everything's in the right place. Like, he's basically a dude. Like, he's exactly like us.
How did you feel about what he said about we've given over the power to this robot to basically police violence, and even if we wanted to do something about it, we couldn't?
Well, I took it in the innocence of its time and thought that's kind of cool, because in theory that is a brilliant idea until the robots become sentient, and then you've got Daleks.
My thought was not actually Skynet or Daleks. I was thinking iRobot. Will Smith going, when I say
Oh,
I
hell
told you
no.
so, you know, like, this is gonna backfire, you know, kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true, because they don't have the capacity for moral decisions, right? They will save who is the more likely to be saved, and then let other people go.
I think it was, again, the innocence of the movie. Not necessarily just the time, because they explore alien overlords and stuff in older TV shows like Twilight Zone, where that was in the late 40s, early 50s. So, yeah, no, you're right. When he said that, I was like, ooh, bad choice.
Yeah.
Because it does, despite he says it doesn't get rid of freedom, it feels like you're giving up freedom.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's true. I would have liked the relationships that Klaatu had with the mother and the boy explored more fully. And
But that could be a whole movie in itself.
which, you know, I wouldn't mind.
No, absolutely not.
And I, even without it though, at the end of the film when he goes back to his spaceship to return home, and he offers that tiny little salute to her, and I was just like, aww.
How did you like the look of the spaceship?
I quite enjoyed it. I
It
thought
was-
it was really sleek design, and I liked that even in the close-ups, as it was closing, you could barely see where the lines were.
When the soldier was like, I saw it open right here, like, no, it's a scientist.
Yeah, he's like, I
It's
can't find the
I
crack
can't
anywhere.
find the crack. Yeah, it was a nice design.
It was.
Sleek,
It was
modern.
very sleek, very modern looking.
Very
Inside was
Tolkien-esque. No hand railings.
You know what the inside of the ship reminded me of, though?
You can blame Jackson for that.
The new Star Trek stuff.
The super white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I also like the motion. Like
Controls?
motion controlled over the buttons and
Yeah.
the light. It was very... Yeah, it was very futuristic.
I'm kind of
In
glad.
a way that wasn't
Ret-
retro-futuristic.
I'm
either.
glad
It
they
was
didn't
just
do.
futuristic.
I'm glad they didn't do the clapper for the lights, though.
Yeah,
Because it could have been really bad, but they did a good job with that.
they did. Honestly, the only thing that I didn't like the look of was Gort, because it was just a guy in a shiny suit.
Yeah, they couldn't have done much else though in that time. I don't think. I
Not
mean,
if they wanted a humanoid robot,
Yeah.
which is one of the things
But
for
even-
Doctor Who is the tin can look has a little bit more of an alien feel to it.
Yeah.
But even then, they did a good job.
And
with-
also, they don't have access to the robotics that
True.
came later, so.
It's okay. The BBC still doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
burn!
sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize, BBC.
At least
I love you.
At least the Daleks can levitate over stairs now.
Yes.
Before stairs were its nemesis.
Oh, I've seen them in the older ones.
Oh, down
They
the
fall
stairs?
down the stairs, yes.
Poor guy inside, though. I mean,
I'm hoping that
driving
they
a
took the guy out
wheelchair
and
down
just
the
pushed
stairs.
it down. The other thing I really liked about this was a common theme in the 50s for regular movies, not just sci-fi, the boarding house.
Yes.
Where
that's
you
true.
get... I would have also liked to have explored more of the characters. Just make this into a miniseries.
Actually, yeah, I think it would be a beautiful miniseries.
Yeah.
And cast Benedict Cumberbatch, because he looks so much like Michael Remy. Those UK boys, there's something there, because it was just ridiculous.
Even the young kid was a great actor.
Yes,
like,
he
he
was.
was really well done.
He reminded me a lot of the actor from the Phantom Tollbooth.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah. The movie, it was one of our favourites as kids.
He was very much a, gee golly, mister,
But that's
type
the
of
way
kid.
he was
But
written.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I liked it better than the remake by a long shot.
I haven't seen the remake, but I will put the remake in the bowl for next season, I think, because we can do a compare and contrast then.
There was some things that I liked about the remake.
But we're not talking about the remake.
Yeah.
It was also nice to finally see where Klaatu Barada Nikto comes from,
Oh!
because we talked about it on a previous episode with Evil Dead. Sorry, Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness, that's right. And
This-
actually, because I've seen Army of Darkness first, and then it was mentioned on that episode that it came from the day the Earth stood still. When it finally came around to that, I was giggling hysterically, and in the back of my head, I'm like, Necromator.
I kept expecting.
Klaatu, Barada, and
I expected her to say necktie or to screw it up
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a second.
yes,
I was
actually,
like,
yes.
no, wrong movie.
Yeah.
But I know that this and movies of its sort, like sci-fi monster movies were a big influence on the director of Evil Dead, Raimi.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it kind of shows.
It was a nice homage, I think. Yeah.
I do feel that this movie lived up to the sort of, iconic feel that it was a good base for a lot of the movies, that were coming out later. It did a good job. It stood up.
Yeah, it did. It stood up really, really well.
Yeah. Surprisingly well compared to other movies at the time. Don't.
Yeah. And it did it all without flashy explosives or,
No.
heart-pounding action scenes.
Other than like the gunshots and the army stuff and the robot, there was really nothing big special effects wise.
No, there really
and
wasn't.
it worked because it had nothing to do with special effects.
Yeah.
It wasn't a blow me up movie. It was a message type science fiction. The good kind.
Yeah, it was it wasn't just fluff.
Yes.
It was
It's a movie of substance.
a movie of substance.
It was a movie to make you think.
Yeah.
On multiple subjects.
Yeah.
On war, on growing up, on money,
On Strangerhood.
strangerhood,
Yeah.
on how evil bankers are, or insurance salesmen are, that kind of thing.
God. Yeah, they did a good job with him, showing how much of a prick he was.
Oh, yeah, and
Without
they did a
too many
really great.
scenes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you could tell the moment he was like, when she's like, I don't have anyone to look after my son, can he come with us? And he's like, I'm like, if you plan on marrying this woman, the son comes with her. Just,
Boarding school.
oh yeah, oh god, yeah. And immediately it clicked in, I'm like, oh, he's not a nice man.
Yeah.
And they did a fantastic job with him, and he had 3 or 4 scenes. Like,
very
he wasn't
subtle
there.
acting and story cues.
Yeah, it was
really
great. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so, final thoughts before we go to star ratings, Rob?
Like I said, good foundation movie, held up, aged well, good acting, good photography, videography. Yeah, pretty pleased. Surprisingly pleased.
The classic in every way possible. Great acting, great storyline, nothing useless in it except for the screaming.
Oh yeah. Her screaming
screaming was
collapse for no reason.
Obviously done just for a trailer. But other than that, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoyed this film a lot. And as I said at the start of the episode, I found it utterly charming. I really did. It wasn't like heart-pounding, like heart-stopping anything, but it was great. It was really an enjoyable viewing experience, and I recommend it to anyone. So, star rating, Eric.
I'll just say something that I thought of right away, quickly. You can see the ideals and the morals that would have influenced a young, or not so young, Gene Roddenberry.
Yes, yeah.
This feels like a precursor to Star Trek, and it's perfect in that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the science fiction that I love, and I give it a 4.5.
I'm gonna go. I won't quite go 4. I need a lot more bang for 4, although a lot of it was worth 4. I'm gonna go
3.962.
No, I might go
really piss off Tom.
3 3/4 just to piss off Tom. Yeah, sorry Tom. I know you're cringing somewhere. She started it. Just saying.
Not even going decimal.
Solid 4 for me. I enjoyed this movie. It was a very pleasing 1.5 hours of viewing time, and the acting was beautiful, and the cinematography was beautiful. The lighting was amazing. I really liked it. And so, yeah, solid 4. Who wants to pick the next one? It's your fault.
I wasn't blamed for the books last week.
Yeah, so now you have to be blamed for the movie.
What is this? We're going to be doing Big Hero 6 2014.
Yeah!
I love this movie. Okay, so
Awesome.
in 2 weeks' time, we will be reviewing Big Hero 6, or discussing Big Hero 6. If you have any thoughts about the 1951 film The Day the Earth Stood Still, feel free to leave them in the comments. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook. Thanks.
#charming.
#charming was better than last week's hashtag.
Yes. Yeah. Whoever thought of that was a real crazy.
I don't even remember that. Oh, the gory orgy.
Gorgy.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
the gory
yes.
orgy. The gorgy.
And then the hashtag Zorro. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Well done, people. Well done.
All right.
It's almost like we know what we're doing. No, I'm
I'm totally.
Oh, something's spilling.
Oh man.
I don't know if I got that whole episode. My camera got warm.
That's okay. Okay.